An unbelievable ending caps off a wild night of fights. What happened last night in Salt Lake City, Utah was an absolute movie. And I don't say that lightly because most likely it will be in a movie at some point in time. Leon Edwards is your new welterweight champion. Yes, you heard that correct. Leon Edwards dethrones Kamaru Usman in the 5th round via leg-to-head kick. Unbelievable stuff. Welcome back to Hey Jive Picks. I'm your host, founder, editor, and producer Hayden Iverson. Make sure to go follow us on TikTok. Give out an absolute dud last night of a play with Kamaru Usman being part of that. Let's get right into it. We're going to go over the betting perspective we had last night, which was not a good one, but we're on cloud 9 right now. That was an absolute tearjerker. Very happy for Leon Edwards. You could tell he was... he's battled a lot in his life, and to win in that fashion, one of the all-time comebacks that I've ever seen, that I've ever witnessed, one of the best moments in UFC history that I've ever been a part of. But going down the straight plays, we had Merab Dvalishvili, 2 units on that. That one cashed. Turned out to be the best play of the night. We had Romanov inside the distance. That lost. Angelosa by decision. That cashed at plus 285. Santos by sub. That lost. De Silva by KO round 1. That lost. Those are both pretty long shots. Arichi Long money line. That cashed. Arichi Long sprinkle on KO. That lost. I had the fight to go the distance in the Usman-Edwards fight, and that was looking like it was going to cash until it didn't. And then I also had a very, very small sprinkle on Edwards by decision, which did not cash either. The parlays went 0-4-5, so that was good. I had Tyson Pedro, Usman, and Romanov. Did not cash. Arichi Long, over 81.5 fantasy points. Almost got there, didn't cash. That was paired up with Dvalishvili, over 53.5 significant strikes. Had the under 10 minutes in the Altamirano Silva fight. That hit, but it was paired with over 2.5 takedowns for Romanov, and he got 2. That sucked. Those were both prize picks, so that was not good. Then I had Woodson and Romanov Usman. That was the play I gave out on my TikTok, and that was an absolute dud. All heavy favorites, and all lost. So the dogs were barking last night. If we look over the official picks, I went 8-3-2. So really not that bad. It's just the ones that I picked turned out to not be, or the ones that I gave out on my TikTok turned out to be the ones that I got wrong. So from the top down, Usman, that did not hit. I had Paulo Costa, that hit. Dvalishvili, that hit. Romanov didn't hit. And then Tyson Pedro hit. Jared Gordon hit. Putilova hit. Woodson draw. Maverick did not. Didn't fight. Angelosa, the dog, won. Bazi won. Arichi Long won. And then I had Daniel De Silva in the first fight, which was wrong. So the only 3 we got wrong technically are the Usman, Romanov, and De Silva. The rest we got correct, or they went to a draw or didn't fight. So not bad. But we are going to go over the full card right now. Try to make this quick, but a lot to say about the main event. Round 1. Leon Edwards comes out hot, gets him to the ground, almost submits him with that rear naked choke. It looked like it was almost in there a couple times. Usman dominates the next 2, 3, or second, third, and fourth round. And everyone's counting him out. Everyone's counting Leon Edwards out. It was literally like a movie. Leon Rocky Edwards, that's his nickname. Unreal stuff. They interview Dean Thomas in between rounds, and he's saying that, Leon Edwards has quit. He's quit on his team. He's not looking his coaches in the eyes. He's given bad body posture, and it looks like he just is content with going to a decision and losing a decision with the pound-for-pound best right now. You just, kind of moral victory in that way. All the announcers are saying, yeah, he's just kind of cruising to the end of the fight to lose a decision to Kamaru Usman. And then, boom, out of nowhere, the left head kick. Unreal stuff. That was, to see Kamaru Usman get knocked out in that fashion, we've really never seen him in a lot of danger in his UFC career and his career, really. So that's was a really moving moment to see that, not only for Usman to lose, but to see Leon win in that fashion. All the stuff he's overcome, all the fight cancellations, all the COVID, the eye poke, all that kind of stuff. You can't help but be happy for the guy. I picked Usman to win, but it was like I didn't feel bad. I went down 7 units on the night, and I really didn't feel bad about it at all, because the ending to that night gave me such a dopamine release. You feel so good for this guy that's been through so much, that losing 7 units on the night didn't matter to me. I was happy. I couldn't go to sleep till like 3 or 4 a.m. just like rewatching everything and listening to the post fight interviews. Got to be happy for him, man. Interested to see. They were talking about a rematch at Wembley, which would be insane. That fight card would be absolutely nuts, with all the hype around the UK and the fighters in the UK for that. And to see Usman coming back after a loss, how he's gonna come back after that. Because when you're at that top for so long, and then you lose in that fashion, it honestly reminds me of like Conor and Jose Aldo, with just how untouchable people thought Jose Aldo was, and then for him to lose in that fashion, it's, I'm interested to see how he comes back from that, and that rematch is gonna be something. Moving on though, the co-main event, Paulo Costa, Luke Rockhold, was also an absolute crazy, wild fight. That altitude, I didn't touch on it in the first fight, but that altitude was a real thing. I didn't expect it to be that, play such a big role in these fights, but it really did. Luke Rockhold pretty much gassed after like one round. You could see him. He's hands on his knees in between rounds. Jason Perillo's got to like haul him back to the corner. He looks like he's just dead tired, like he doesn't want to be in there, but he's Luke Rockhold. He's going to stay in there. Paulo Costa did a lot of good work early and often. He won the fight 30-27 on all the judges' scorecards. But Luke Rockhold, man, he's a dog, man. He's a dog. That, for him to... This was another fight that was like some scene out of a movie, with Luke Rockhold, bloody face, nose just pouring blood. And he would have these spurts of just really hard kicks, really hard punches, and then just take time off, get a little bit of energy back, and then just spurt back with something really explosive to Paulo Costa. So for Costa, he kind of had to keep his mind clear and not get too complacent with looking at a Rockhold that's tired, the body language, obviously tired, but then comes back with some explosive movements periodically throughout the fight. Costa could never really totally unload on him. Maybe that was because he was tired as well, but just the threat that Rockhold holds throughout the fight he's always in danger. And it's like 2 punches in a row, 2 straight lefts from Luke Rockhold, where he just looks at Paulo Costa and he goes, "Fuck you," and he throws the hard lefts that land hard too. Props to Paulo Costa, man. Showed a good chin. But that was like a scene out of a movie too, just yelling constantly. They were constantly talking throughout this fight too, which was fun to watch. But to yell "fuck you" to a guy and then just unload a left hand that lands clean was sick. And then for him to end up on the top at the end of the 3rd round, wiping his blood all over Paulo Costa's face, his nose blood, that was like it got the crowd fired up. I'll tell you that. It was some legendary stuff. And then for him to retire after that, I kind of figured he was going to retire after this fight because the way he was talking, he's like, I want to finish it on my terms. I mean, what does that really mean? That pretty much means you're coming into this fight like, it's if I lose, I'm out. If I win, I'm out. Pretty much. So, I mean, he came in great shape. He wasn't just coming in for a paycheck. Wasn't just coming in to be in the spotlight. He came in to win. He probably wanted to go out with a win very badly. But Paulo Costa came out with a great performance and got the win in that one. So shout out to him. Great fight though. Great fight. Moving on. Jose Aldo, Merab Dvalishvili. Probably the best read I had of the night. You know, I thought Merab would push a pace on him and never allow Jose Aldo to get going with his striking, and pretty much that's exactly what happened. First round, kind of a feeler. Merab went 0 for 16 on takedowns, but just the threat that he pushes those takedowns so much, that threat alone never allowed Aldo to really let his hands go, because, you know, if you're going to let your hands go, you got to be in range. You got to be not necessarily wild, but you're leaving yourself open to counters with the hands and also counters with takedowns. So he kind of had to stay at some kind of range and never allowed himself to fight. And that's what Merab does well. He doesn't allow you to be comfortable in there. And ultimately, it was, a pretty boring fight. But Merab gets it done in Merab fashion. 5 minutes of control time, 0 for 16 on takedowns, but he's going to keep pushing them. And a loss for Jose Aldo. Interested to see what's up for him next. Also interested to see what's up for Merab next because, he's right there in the title shot race, but he has said he's not going to fight Aljo. So maybe, I don't know, maybe if TJ beats Aljo, then Merab fights TJ at some point. That would be interesting. But Aldo's such a legend. That walkout was like goosebumps. Just, Aldo's one of those guys that you can just tell by looking at him, like he's all focus, he's all like business, and nothing short of it last night. Always fun to see him fight. And just, it was great to see the fans, get behind him as well. But Merab showing that he does Merab things, and cashed our ticket there. Thank you for that, because that was much needed. The next fight I won't go too far into because this should not have been on the pay-per-view in the first place. Willian and Lucy Putilova. Good performance by Lucy Putilova. She showed great takedowns, great grappling, gets the KO, TKO from on top in the mount, and that is that. Not really going to go into that too much. Tyson Pedro, Harry Hunsucker. Tyson Pedro looks really good, but, this is just another layup for him. His last fight, Ike Villanueva. Then he gets Harry Hunsucker. They're obviously trying to ease him back into competition, get his confidence back, because he could be a real problem in the light heavyweight division. But he just hasn't fought anybody, in the past 4 or 5 years now. But it could be a real problem. It's good to see people come back and have success after being off with injuries and stuff. He's talked a lot about, being depressed and everything with his injuries and people doubting him and saying that he should just not come back to MMA. Props to him for sticking it out. But that was a quick one, real quick one. That kick to the gut, to the liver, shut him out quick. Yeah. Props to Tyson Pedro. Moving on. Marcin Tybura and Alexander Romanov, probably the biggest freaking letdown of the card for me. I'm big on Alexander Romanov. He showed that he's pretty much a one-round fighter. I thought at least he could bank 2 rounds, but that altitude got people, man. It really got people. I mean, we'll touch on it a few more times throughout the prelims, but Romanov 10-8 first round. I don't see there's any doubt about that. Only one of the judges gave him a 10-8 out of the 3, but I think that's a 10-8 round for sure. Dominated him 100%. Marcin Tybura didn't even land a strike in the first round. And then he gasses out. Romanov gasses out, and Tybura just kind of chips away at him, stuffs the takedowns. And it's just not a good look for Romanov because Romanov was like being all buddy-buddy with Tybura in the second and third rounds. Like he's not losing. He didn't lose the rounds. Like, dude, you got to like get mad. You got to dig down deep. You got to find something here to inflict some damage, because you keep going this way, you're going to lose the fight. And he's just like giving him hugs and shit. I'm like, dude, you're a big heavyweight guy. You got to be like a little mean, a wrestler. You got to be mean. Not him, man. Not him. Big disappointment for that. He loses his undefeated record. Marcin Tybura, looking back on it, man, it's fucking heavyweights, man. It's fucking heavyweights. Minus 400 as a heavyweight. I got to stop betting on that shit, dude. Like, that sucked. But whatever. You live and you learn. Leonardo Santos, Jared Gordon. This one was all Jared Gordon. You could tell in this one, too, that Leonardo Santos gassed out. Unbelievably gassed. He only landed 36 significant strikes. Jared Gordon, known for his cardio, lands 116 significant strikes. All domination. 27-30 win for Jared Gordon. Santos is 42 years old. Likely out the door. Jared Gordon, coming off that loss to Grant Dawson via submission, gets a decent win here. Middle of the pack lightweights there, so won't spend too much time on that one either. Sean Woodson, Luis Saldana. Sean Woodson was the first leg of the 3-leg Loch Ness Monster I put on my TikTok that went 0 for 3. Unbelievable. But Sean Woodson, this one was a wild fight too, because Sean Woodson gets cracked, pretty much knocked out in the first round. Knocked down, and pretty much knocked out. Luis Saldana's showboating, because I'm guessing he thinks he knocked him out clean. But the fight's still going on, and Sean Woodson starts to get up. Well, he gets knocked down the first time, and then gets back to his feet, gets knocked down a second time, and Luis Saldana's like, I should probably finish him this time, because I just knocked him down again. I should probably just finish him and get this win. So he runs towards him, and the illegal knee. So it's a 9-9 round after the first round. And round 2, Sean Woodson spends not majority, but a good majority of the second round, later round, trying to get that, I don't even remember what it's called, some kind of choke. It's like a buggy choke or something. Some crazy jiu-jitsu move, because he's got those long arms and long legs. He's got him in this weird position. But I would score that a Sean Woodson round. Just because, he had a submission attempt for like 2 or 3 minutes. I don't remember exactly, but I guess maybe if you're a judge that isn't really sure, has like a bad angle or something, that you would think Saldana's winning that because he's on top. But Woodson had him in the most danger for that round. And then the third round is just kind of on the feet, back and forth. Could go either way. I thought it probably went to Woodson. So I would give that fight 29-28 to Woodson, I think. Or 29-27 to Woodson. Yeah, 29-27 to Woodson. But ultimately it's a draw. So that's how that one ends. Wild fight. Luis Saldana definitely could have won that one pretty easily if he just would have, one, not need him, two, just went after him the first time. He knocked him down. But hopefully he lives and he learns. But as a minus 375 favorite, Sean Woodson definitely did not look like it. And I would be interested. Not interested, but like wary of Sean Woodson's chin going forward because, he's been cracked before. So Saldana is not necessarily the biggest power. He is a very good first round fighter. He comes out pretty hot with his leg kicks. He throws a lot into his strikes early and then kind of gasses out as the fight goes. But wary on Sean Woodson. Definitely would not back him at minus 375 again. Moving on, AJ Fletcher, Angelosa. I had Angelosa in this one. I thought his stand-up game is just levels above AJ Fletcher. And this one was fucking wild too, man. First round, Angelosa piecing him up. Pieces up AJ Fletcher. Definitely a round for AJ Fletcher. Or not AJ Fletcher. A round for Angelosa. Second round, kind of doing the same shit, piecing him up on the feet, and then AJ Fletcher starts finding the target, absolutely unloads everything he has into Angelosa. Very easily could have been stopped. Angelosa somehow holds on, and AJ Fletcher is done. He is done. He's on the ground, not even... both guys are... Angelosa just took like 30 punches, hard punches, and he's probably a little woozy. AJ Fletcher's just straight up gassed, like he cannot move. And then the whole third round is just Angelosa on top of him, like one to the body, one to the head, one to the body, one to the head, and very easily could have finished him if he just unloads, but chooses to just stay on top and ultimately get the win via decision. Probably the smartest move there for him because, maybe AJ Fletcher could have like recouped some energy, and if he starts to unload, doesn't get the finish, then he's gassed out and AJ Fletcher's coming with more energy. But thankfully he did not, and Angelosa gets the win by decision. We cash our ticket. I wish I would have put a little bit more on Angelosa just straight up because I had a really good feeling that he could win this fight. Much better on the feet. AJ Fletcher, 0-2 in the UFC now, but decent competition. Moving on, Amir Bazi and Francisco Figuereto. Really good performance for Bazi. Walks him down like he normally does. He fights at a pace and in a way that he wants to. And that is ultimately that's what gets him wins. He controls the fight. He walks him down, shoots, gets the takedown. And after, didn't even take him around to get the submission, get the rear naked choke. Not going to go too far into that one because it was pretty much domination from the start for Amir Bazi. Good performance for him. I'd like to see him get a higher ranked opponent in his next fight. Arichi Long and Jay Perrin. I had Arichi Long. I felt that he was going to be able to stuff the takedowns for the most part, and he's going to just throw volume. He throws really good volume. He throws really good power. I thought he'd have a much bigger advantage on the feet over Jay Perrin. And he did through the first two rounds. Arichi Long cracks him a couple times, damn near knocks him down. Just a really good counter striker in Arichi Long. Jay Perrin kind of figuring it out the first and second rounds, starts to get a takedown, doesn't do much with it at all. Arichi Long is very active trying to get back up. Jay Perrin has to pretty much just hold him down, not really do much damage when he has him on the ground. And then in the third round, Perrin starts to get his reads and starts to find these openings. Could also be that Richie Long is just getting gassed and a little more lazy, less willing to throw, less willing to put like some damage out there for Jay Perrin to respect. And Jay Perrin just gains a lot more confidence and lands a lot of shots. And that one ended in a pretty exciting fashion. Richie Long gets the decision win, 29-28 on all the judges' scorecards. And we cash our ticket on Richie Long there, so felt good about that. First fight of the night, Daniel Da Silva and Victor Altamirano. Da Silva is a one-round fighter. That's what I thought. But it turns out Daniel Da Silva is a 1-minute fighter, pretty much. Comes out hot, as always. Cracks Victor Altamirano on the feet. Altamirano's got that chin. Very good chin, never been knocked out. And then Da Silva pretty much gasses out after like 2 minutes. So Altamirano takes him to the ground. Da Silva's trying to like throw up these triangle attempts that are just not, I mean, they're kind of like half-assed. They're kind of just that he's gassed and getting elbowed in the face. He can't really do much. He's got to just get out from under the bottom, but he's still trying to throw up these triangles and shit, throw up these arm bars. Not working out for him. He gets elbowed in the face probably like 30, 40 times, and they ultimately call it for the TKO finish for Victor Altamirano. So not a good performance for Daniel Da Silva, but a good win. He should definitely have gotten the finish in Victor Altamirano. For him to get in the first round is, it was very good. It was very good. Very good. Overall, man, I'm having some bad luck with the bets. If we look over the past, so last week we lost 2 units. The week before that we lost a unit. And then the week before that we won like 5.5. So 3 straight losing weeks for me. Obviously I had a lot invested in Romanov. In hindsight, it's always 20/20, but heavyweight that has shown he's gassed before, fighting at altitude, probably not the best bet. Looking at it in hindsight. So if Romanov comes through, we're looking pretty solid, because I would like to say I would have hedged against Usman to finish our parlays. But in the moment, who knows what happens, I kept an eye on the live betting market for the Usman Edwards fight, and Edwards was like plus 1,600 at one point. And I remember looking at it, I was like, damn, that's kind of juicy. Like, I'm already down 7 units. If I just throw like half a unit or a unit at it, could get a little bit back if he pulls something off. But I was like, nah, don't be that guy that chases his losses, But, in that case, it would have helped me out. But, part of it's discipline. You got to, like, know when to stop. I didn't make any live bets this card, so I just didn't see any holes that I liked. But we got the next week off. There's no fights that week, this weekend, and then the weekend after that we got UFC Paris, Cyril Gane, Tai Tuivasa. Very excited for that one. Gonna have an announcement for that card, a big announcement for that card. Got a couple plays that I'm looking at, eyeing up, that I'll be finalizing. But stay tuned for that announcement. I'll probably do it on TikTok. I'll be giving out that announcement for the UFC Paris. Very excited for that one. I'll be studying up on those couple Dana White Contender Series in the meantime that I'll be looking at for sure. We also had the Joshua Usyk boxing match that I watched that one. That was a pretty decent fight. Usyk won that one, and then I watched bare knuckle boxing with Mike Perry and Michael Venom Page. Mike Perry's just built for that shit, man. He's just built for that. That is a tough man's sport. You have to be just unwillingly, like, able to throw your face into somebody else's knuckles. And the way the MVP fights is to not get hit and not stay in the pocket. But in that, it's like, you gotta, like, Mike Perry just wants to stay in the pocket with you and throw, and he just walks him down the entire fight. And honestly, Mike Perry doesn't hold damage very well. His face gets bloodied really quick. But just the visual of Mike Perry walking him down the whole fight, and MVP fighting off his back foot pretty much the whole fight, I think that's ultimately what kind of got the judges to score it for him. But also had the Kayla Harrison win. Watched that too. So a big weekend for combat sports, and capped off with an absolutely unbelievable moment that I will never forget. Leon Edwards making history, taking down the pound for pound fighter, welterweight GOAT pretty much. Excited to see what's next, man. Until then, stay tuned on the TikTok at HeyJivePicks. Go give that a follow. I'll be pushing content, whether it's a pick, whatever kind of content it is. Thank you for all the support. Leave a like, leave a subscription, leave a follow, leave a comment. I know y'all are roasting me for the 0-3 on the parlay, which is fine. I'll take it. I give out bad picks. I'll take I'll take the heat for it, man. I'll take the heat for it. It is what it is. We'll be back with a 3-leg Loch Ness monster for UFC Paris. Bet on that. I'll be back with it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Hey, Jeff Picks. I'll see you in the next one.